Hi, everyone. Welcome again to Ivy English. I'm Bruce.
I'm Angela.
And I'm Wesley.
Well, we have two short news stories for you today, and in fact, every month we do. The first of our two news reports today is called Easter Island Wildfires Burn Moai Statues.
我们的中文标题是复活节岛摩艾石像烧成焦黑。
Recent wildfires have severely damaged the famed Moai statues of Easter Island. The giant stone statues were carved by the indigenous Rapa Nui people over 1,000 years ago and represent their ancestors. The carvings can be found scattered around the 164 square kilometer island. Like the Eiffel Tower and the Statue of Liberty, the Moai statues are some of the most recognizable landmarks in the world. Wildfires on Easter Island have become an increasingly common phenomenon in recent years. A possible reason for this is the growth in the number of cattle for ranching. In October 2022, ranchers burned land for cattle pastures, sparking wildfires that spread across the island's Rano-Raraku volcanic crater. This shows an increasing tension between landowners who focus on economic development and conservationists concerned about protecting the island's delicate environment.
Okay, so recent wildfires. Recent means it's happened in the last 6 months or something like that, depending on your time scale. But recent generally is like 1 to 6 months before and in the past. And these have severely damaged the famed Moai statues of Easter Island. To severely damage something means like the damage is so great that it has to have repair and may not even be able to be repaired. And these Moai statues are super important to the people who live on Easter Island because they represent their ancestors.
好，所以我们可以看到他说 recent 就是近来最近的一些野火 wildfires have severely damaged 就是严重损坏了，那 severely 是严重的，用来修饰 damaged 这个动词，他们严重损害了 famed 就是这个很有名的，而且 famed 常常感觉就是 widely known and esteemed 常常是大家觉得对他怀有一点敬意的 esteemed esteemed 好，所以这知名的这个 Moai statues 这个摩艾石像是复活岛的石像，但是就最近有几场野火严重的损坏了它们。
The giant stone statues were carved by the indigenous Rapa Nui people over 1,000 years ago and represent their ancestors. Well, these statues are quite a bit taller than a person standing up next to one, and they're mostly in the form of a head. It doesn't have they don't have legs or arms. It's a head and neck, really, coming up from under the ground or looking that way. And they represent the ancestors of the Rapa Nui people. They were carved. They used certain tools in stone to make pictures or designs over 1,000 years ago.
好，所以这巨大的 giant 巨大的 stone statues 石像 were carved 他们被雕塑被这个怎么样 indigenous 就是原住的原来就住在那边的我们常常讲 the indigenous people 就是原住民好我们这个句子讲到他们是谁雕刻的呢是这个Rapa Nui 的人是在超过1000年前也就1000多年前雕刻的然后代表的是这些石像 represent 代表的是 their 就是指Rapa Nui 他们的 ancestors 他们的祖先
So the carvings can be found scattered around the 164 square kilometer island. This is a tiny island. Everybody on this island knows each other. It's small. What are carvings? These are things that were carved, basically. Yeah. So a carving could be made out of anything you can carve. Could be wood, plastic, stone, anything. So these carvings are meaning these statues because we've already said statues. We're going to say statues a lot. So carvings is another substitute word for statues.
好，所以这个地方的 carvings 就是指雕塑品、雕刻品啊，那其实就指这些 statues， 但是因为我们用很多次这个 statues 这个字，所以这里换一下，换成 carvings。这些雕塑的雕像呢 can be found 可以被发现，那在什么样的状态下被发现呢？这 scattered 这个可以把它看成是个分词啊，过去分词把它看成补语。好，所以它可以被找到，怎么样找到呢？它找到的状态就是四散 scattered around， 在这个164平方公里的岛上四处散布，叫做 can be found scattered around this island.
Like the Eiffel Tower and the Statue of Liberty, the Moai statues are some of the most recognizable landmarks in the world. Well, you might not know the name of the Eiffel Tower, but I'll bet you've seen it before in pictures, movies, and so on. And the same, if you've never been to New York and seen the Statue of Liberty in person, you still know what it is. Now, the Moai statues are also easily recognizable. People, oh yeah, I've seen those before. Now, maybe they don't know about the Rapa Nui people or about how long they've been there and so on, but these landmarks, these statues, these creations are famous around the world.
好，所以就好像埃菲尔铁塔或者是自由女神像，这些摩艾石像呢，是 some of the most recognizable landmarks. Recognizable 就是最好，就是好可以认得出来的，也就是辨识度高的。所以当我们这里讲说它是 the most recognizable landmarks， 就是指是辨识度最高的地标啊 in the world， 全世界辨识度最高的地标之一啊。所以我想世界上大部分的人看到这个摩艾石像，大概都知道是什么东西。
Wildfires, which are basically fires that get out of control. These fires on Easter Island have become increasingly common phenomenon in recent years. So this is happening more and more.
Yeah, 所以在复活节岛上面这些野火 wildfires have become 已经成为 an increasingly common phenomenon， 一个越来越普遍的现象。increasingly 就是越来越 common 就是普遍的现象。那 in recent years 近年来。
A possible reason for this is the growth in the number of cattle for ranching. Why have these wildfires become more and more common on Eastern Island? A possible reason. It may be that the number of cattle being raised for ranching, cattle are cows and bulls, especially when they are raised for their meat, there has been a growth in their number. More and more of them are being raised for the people to make more money because that's what ranching does. It takes large areas of land. The land, if it has trees and bushes and whatnot, that has to be cleared because the cattle cannot eat trees. They will eat much smaller plants that have to be provided for them.
好，所以呢 a possible reason for this 就是这个现象有一个可能的原因是怎么样？ The growth in 就什么东西的成长呢？在 the number of 数量，什么的数量呢？ Cattle， 所以在牛只数量上面的成长。而这些牛只呢，他们的目的是为了怎么样？为了放牧，好 for ranching， 好 ranching 就是这个放牧，好或者是牧场等等的意思。
So in October 2022, ranchers burned land for cattle pastures. The reason they do this is that they want certain kind of things to grow, and if you burn the land, if you burn the stuff on the land, then the right kind of food will grow, and then like small trees and stuff will be kept down. And so the cattle will have food. This is a practice that's used across the world, and it is often very destructive to the ecology because, you know, this land wasn't originally meant for cattle to be on it. And so, anyways, that's the thing that people do. And then this activity was sparking wildfires that spread across the island's Rano Raraku volcanic crater. So the original place they were burning land wasn't in this like specific volcanic crater park, but wind is unpredictable, and that's why we call them wildfires, because they're out of control fires, and that's what happened.
在2022年的10月呢 ranchers 就是牧场的主人 burned land 焚烧了土地 for 是为了 cattle pastures 就是牛只的牧地，好 pasture 就是可以长出牛要吃的植物的这样的一块地。那 显然就原来的这个地上面的植物呢，这个不是牛要吃的，所以这些牧场主人为了要养牛，就把这个地放火烧掉，那就会可以长出一些牛只可以吃的一些植物。好，那这些放火烧的这些土地呢，结果就 sparking 就是引燃了 kindle Kindle 它引燃了 wildfires 野火。那这个野火这个怎么样呢？ That spread across 扩散蔓延到这个岛的一些这个拉诺拉拉库火山的火山口。好 volcanic crater 就是火山口。
This shows this phenomenon of burning land to produce more cattle. This shows an increasing tension or big problem, obvious problem, between landowners who focus on economic development, such as the ranchers, and conservationists, who are people who are trying to protect the natural resources of the island the way it has always been. Conservationists concerned about protecting the island's delicate environment. This is a small island in the middle of the Pacific Ocean. You really have to take care of this baby because it cannot survive like a whole continent.
好，所以呢，这地方我们看到它这显示 this shows 一个 increasing 就是持续增加，而且是 increasing tension 持续增加的一个紧张关系 between 在两者之间日益加剧的紧张关系。哪两者呢？一方面是 landowners 地主 who focus on economic development 他们专注于 focus on economic 经济的 development。 那另外一边呢是 conservationists 就是环保人士或者是生态环境的守护者。他们这些人怎么样？ They are concerned about 就是他们很忧心很关心 protecting the islands 他们很关心要保护这个岛的 delicate 就是脆弱的 environment 环境。
Okay, let's move on to our second article. Now hiring. Babies wanted to cheer up the elderly.
我们中文标题是日本养老院招募宝宝陪伴长辈。 Now hiring 就是正在招募人才当中征才当中。那 babies wanted 就是我们需要 babies 来 cheer up 使什么高兴起来？使谁高兴起来呢？ The elderly 使老人高兴起来。
Okay, I'll read through the whole short article. A nursing home in the Japanese city of Kitakyushu recently drew attention after posting an advertisement about hiring babies. The role of the babies is to keep the elderly residents entertained and help them smile. The head of the nursing home says that since the start of the program, the spirits of the elderly living there have been lifted. They are delighted when the babies arrive, giving them hugs and taking a stroll with them. For anyone concerned about the welfare of the babies, they are accompanied by their guardians at all times. Parents sign contracts stating that they can bring their children whenever they're available and that the babies are allowed unlimited breaks whenever hungry or tired. As a reward for the babies' hard work, the nursing home provides their parents with diapers and milk formula.
Okay, so a nursing home is a place that we send old people to be cared for when it's too hard for them to be cared for at home by the people at home. Because they have staff that have specific, medical expertise.
Procedures.
And there's like medicine.
You have to know how to clean and wash thoroughly a person's body so that they don't get infections.
Actually, a key thing is the washing. For instance, my dad needed to live in a nursing home for a while after he had his stroke simply because our bathroom was not set up for helping a stroke victim. So he had to go to a place where they had washing facilities that he could use.
Or you live in a house on the second or third floor and they can't walk upstairs, but you don't have an elevator.
Exactly. So there's a lot of reasons why someone might live in a nursing home. Now, this nursing home in the Japanese city of Kitakyushu recently drew attention. If you draw attention, it means that people start paying attention to you or you did something that made people want to pay attention to you. And they did this after posing an advertisement about hiring babies. And so the idea of babies working is amusing. And so, of course, people were like, what? What's going on here?
好，所以在 日本的北九州市有一个 nursing home， 就是养老院，他最近呢 drew attention， 引发了关注。在他做了什么事情之后引发关注呢？在他刊登了 posting， 就是刊登了一个广告。什么广告呢？这个广告是关于要聘用或者雇用一些 babies 这样的广告。那刚刚 Bruce 老师跟 Angel 老师有提到，其实养老院啊是有的时候，尤其在国外是很普遍的，因为有的时候老人他如果身体有什么状况，在家里面家人很难去照顾他，那养老院有他们的设施，有他们的人力，还有专业的人员，可以提供比较好的照顾。
Okay.Hiring babies sounds so strange in English, and I suppose most other languages. What are you talking about? The role of the babies, now we find out why you can hire babies. The role of the babies is to keep the elderly residents entertained and help them smile. The babies don't have to sing songs or tell or read stories. It's nothing like that. Just being a baby is such a pleasure,especially for older people who have been parents with young children themselves at an earlier time in their lives.
好，所以这些宝宝是要怎么样呢？ Keep 就是保持 the elderly residents 啊 ，residents 就是住民，这是年老的住民，就是养老院的住在养老院的这些人。那 keep 让他们保持在什么状态之下呢 ？Entertained 就让他们受到娱乐，也就是说让他们感到心情愉快。然后呢，要帮助这些老人微笑啊，这个是很聪明的一招，因为就其实不一定要自己当过父母亲，我想这是天性。像我没有小孩，可是我现在看到 baby 也是觉得哦，好可爱哦。
Yeah, it's true.
Especially I don't have to take care of
Especially if the baby is smiling and calm, then it's like, oh, so cute. The instant it starts to cry, you're like, oh, where's his mom?
Yeah. 啊，这个宝宝就像布鲁斯老师刚刚讲，什么都不用做，他是个宝宝，那就很可爱了。啊，那我说我特别喜欢宝宝，因为他们很可爱，尤其重点是我不用照顾他们。啊，那 Angel 老师就说，小孩一哭就找妈妈，好，我们也找妈妈，好，小孩也找妈妈。
That's probably why they're crying. They're like, okay, you're nice, but where's mom?
Yeah.
Yeah. So the head of the nursing home, the person in charge of the nursing home, the head, says that since the start of the program, since they've begun doing this, the spirits of the elderly living there have been lifted. If you lift people's spirits, you make them feel happier.
这个 spirits 在这里就是 mood 的意思，它通常是用复数啊，就指一个人的心情。那前面也可以用动词 lift 啊 ，lift someone's spirits 就是让他心情愉快啊，让他这个精神提振。所以呢，这个 the head of the nursing home 就是养老院的负责人说呢，从这个计划开始 ，since the start of the program， 从计划开始呢，住在那里的 living there， 那个 there 就是指养老院，住在养老院的这些老人们，他们的心情呢 have been lifted， 就受到提振了。
They are delighted when the babies arrive, giving them hugs and taking a stroll with them. They, of course, are the elderly who live in these homes. They're delighted. Delighted is more than happy. You're just head over heels because babies are so cute, and they can hug them, they can hold them by their hands, and take a stroll, to take a little walk with them.
好，所以 they are delighted。那各位注意 ，delighted 是不只是快乐，它比快乐还要快乐，就是 to please greatly， 这很大的快乐。所以这些老人非常快乐。当这个 babies 到了，就抵达的时候，他们就很快乐。那 giving them hugs， 那个 them 就指这些 babies， 这个老人们呢会去抱这个 baby。好 ，hug 不一定整个抱过来，你给他们这个就稍微抱一下啊，都觉得很可爱。然后或者是 taking a stroll， 就是散步。这个 stroll 就是 a leisurely walk， 它不但是这个散步，而且是很休闲的散步。所以老人们也很喜欢带着这些 baby 去散步。
Now, for anyone concerned about the welfare of the babies, like obviously the old people are happy about this, but are the babies happy about this? Their welfare means how they're doing, whether they're being okay or not. So this is what happens. They are accompanied by their guardians at all times. If somebody accompanies you, they go with you. They're physically present with you.
好，所以这 accompany 这个字就是 to be in company with， 或者是甚至于 escort E-S-C-O-R-T 这个护送，那也是 accompany 的意思。好，所以如果有任何人 for anyone concerned about 关心或者担心 the welfare of the babies， 这个 baby 他们的福祉，他的福利啊，你们大人快乐，老人快乐，那小孩怎么办呢？好 welfare 就是 well-being， 它也可以指 happiness， 也可以指 health。 对于这些人来讲呢 they 就是 they babies are accompanied by 他们由谁陪伴呢？他们的 guardians 他们的监护人，而且是 at all times 随时随地都有他们监护人陪伴。
Parents sign contracts stating that they can bring their children whenever they're available and that the babies are allowed unlimited breaks whenever hungry or tired. So this is a contract between the home and the parents of the babies. Instead of, okay, Monday through Friday from 10 to 12, you never know when a baby is going to be cooperative and be willing and be happy to go outside the home and be with people they don't necessarily know, even though they're treated so well. So the parents know when the child is ready for this sort of activity.
好，所以呢父母亲会签一个合约啊 stating that 这合约上载明写明白他们可以 bring their children 他们可以带他们小孩，但是是 whenever they're available 是小孩子可以来的时候啊，那就像布鲁老师刚刚讲的，这小孩子有时候他可能今天不想出门啊，或者他今天心情不好啊怎么样的，那就是 not available。 那父母亲可以判断说这个宝宝今天心情不错哈，他可以去，所以他什么时候爱去就去。然后呢 that the babies are allowed 就是被允许有 unlimited breaks 就是没有限制的休息， unlimited 就是没有限制的。那 whenever they are 那个 they are 省略掉了 hungry or tired 他们如果饿了或者累了，他们可以有无限制的休息。那我如果生了宝宝，我就去那边猛睡觉就好了 unlimited break 所以我就
That's the one that caught your eye.
Yeah, how nice. Unlimited breaks.
Isn't that what retirement is about, though? Unlimited breaks? Supposedly.
Yeah, supposedly.
But not
yeah.
true, I guess. Okay, but as a reward for the baby's hard work, a reward is when you give somebody something for doing something. Like, here you go, here's a cookie. Or here's $100,000, whatever floats your boat. Anyways, the nursing home gives the parents a reward. They provide their parents with diapers and milk formula. So when they said in the beginning about them hiring babies, hiring implies a material compensation. And so, in truth, they have provided material compensation, not in the form of money, but in the form of diapers and milk formula, which most parents probably appreciate.
Yeah, yeah, 所以真的是雇用，因为他们说呢 as a reward 作为报酬好 for the baby's hard work 这个也很可爱 the babies are working hard resting or smiling or having fun.
I think this is your ideal job, right?
Yeah, everybody's ideal job, I think.
You just get to sit around and be you and everyone's like, wow, you're here.
Yeah. 所以为了要给这些宝宝们辛苦工作辛劳工作 hard work 的报酬呢，那这个安养院呢会提供他们的父母亲各位注意这用法 provide somebody with something 就提供某人某件事，会提供怎么样 diapers 尿布还有 milk formula 就奶粉，那这个就是报酬，所以真的是 hiring 的关系。
Okay, that's it for today's lesson. We'll be back with you tomorrow. Until then,
Bye-bye.